Sarah, what's up? Thank you so much for joining me today to discuss your journey with IBD. I'm so happy you're here.
Thanks for having me.
And this is actually our second testimony, which I love because a lot of people out there have been asking, what happens after 6 months? What happens after 8 months? So we're doing kind of a where are they now story. And you first joined the S.H.I.E.L.D program, was it 2 years ago, 2.5 years
It'll
ago?
be 2 years in May, yes.
2 years. So it's coming up. We're about 30 days away. It's April right now. So you're about to go into your 2-year journey into the S.H.I.E.L.D program. And man, when you first came in, you got results quickly, effectively. It's like the second coming. And for anyone who wants to learn about Sarah's first journey, I'll put her first testimony below. But since then, you had some speed bumps come up. And what we think, and I'll say to anyone out there who looks at her first story in a second, we really think had a lot to do with viruses, stress, mindset, which we're going to talk about today, and trauma, having a lot to do with that. But what's happened over this last year? Take us back from you getting great experiences, having some relearning experiences, and then getting back to where I think now you feel more confident than ever.
I do. Now looking back at it, I'm actually very, very grateful that those speed bumps happened, because I feel like where I'm at now versus where I was at when you said when I got those quick results is completely different person from a standpoint of physical symptoms, but also just from a standpoint of mental and how I feel about things, how I approach things now. I've just learned so much through it all.
Could I ask you something a little in depth? Because, you've already done your story before and had massive success. And we're going to dive into some of the stuff that really changed. But you said something really important that you're grateful for. Is things not working perfect? Is it a necessary to go deeper and to really learn how to take care of yourself? Like, would you have even gotten this good at understanding your health if you would have just come in, gotten perfect results, and never had any kind of trial or something to learn against, some kind of issue to deal with? Do you really feel like you could have gotten to this point without that resistance?
I don't. And in fact, one of the things that I've learned, which is amazing, and I think this could be applied towards life in general, is that when any type of adversity comes up, I feel that it's there to teach me something.
Yeah.
And if I can really take a step back rather than, obviously with the IBD and the symptoms, we tend to freak out. We tend to go into fixing mode. But if I can really just take a step back and just know that this is happening for a reason, my body's intelligent, it's going to work through it. Sometimes, yes, I do need to step in and handle, which are the tools that I've gained so much through this program. But just knowing that it's there to teach me and my body's intelligent. And I would not have learned it just from a book. I needed to go through that.
Now, back even like a year and a half ago, 18 months ago, we were talking about, people who don't get speed bumps don't get that in-depth real S.H.I.E.L.D, like really ability to understand the trauma of I'm sick, or the trauma of food, or the trauma of, oh my God, what's causing this? This is going to kill me, right? Do you feel like it really resonated then, or did it take all of these things happening for that communication back then to really sink in?
It took all these things. And it's really funny because if anybody watches my old testimony, I'll talk about how I wasn't afraid. And that's one of the things. And it's true, a lot of fear was alleviated then, but having gone through all this, like I just keep learning more and more. I don't think I'm done yet. I think there's even probably more to keep learning. And
me neither.
But I will say for anybody out there that wants and needs help, my symptoms are completely different too. Yes, at the end of the first program I was better. I did go through a couple of pretty major speed bumps, but I just even had a colonoscopy recently where the doctor was just so impressed. And 2 years ago, it was one of the worst that they'd ever seen. So I can truly say that my body is healing and it's in a better spot. I'm also not afraid. Like we said, if we go through more too, like truly not afraid at this point. So
you're doing something right when your GI doctor just did your colonoscopy, asks you, so what have you been doing? Because you're not taking the medications and following the simple path, and your doctor goes, this looks 10 times better. What have you been doing? So that's really exciting to see. And this is also something I love to say is you came in, we did the S.H.I.E.L.D program, and you were really extreme. And you went from really extreme to symptom-free quite quickly. Then you had, and then over the last, about a year or two, you had 2 really predominant speed bumps after that, where you came back and said, hey guys, things aren't working as well. You went symptom-free again, and then you went out, and then things started going off again, and then you saw an ND. Take us through that. Let's still go over that third one. So you had a few times where it was really perfect, then your body started reacting, and then we came back, we worked on you again, we got it symptom-free again. It was like, okay, I'm good this time. And then a third time it happened, you reached out and said, oh, I don't know what's going on. My plan's not working as well.
Well, one time in between, after I took what I learned here, I thought I could just go see kind of like a generic ND, and they really didn't get in depth with my case like CCL does too. And so I was prescribed like a bunch of supplements, which obviously we think are healthy, but it was not at all. My body couldn't handle it, and my body reacted extremely strong to it. And then it came back, and that was before the last speed bump. So,
and it's not to put down any NDs. These people are geniuses in their own right, but they gave you a generic plan. They didn't understand your case. They told you to go on way too high doses right off the bat. Also, you weren't in the position where you were accountable to say, what are you giving me and why? You were still, okay, just tell me what to take and I'll take it, which is a big mistake even our own clients make. Like we always say, look, learn this stuff, because at any given moment, this is a perfect example, you might go somewhere, and if you're just taught to just do what people tell you to do, it can really backfire. And it backfired. What happened once you took these more generic supplements, which scientifically made sense, but for your body were nasty? What happened when you kind of went on that generic plan?
I got extremely sick, and I couldn't get out of the flare from what had worked before. And so I tapped into some private coaching and worked with Lori, who was amazing, and really learned a lot from that too. And, obviously got out of the flare. But I think, to your point, what's different now too is I won't go blindly follow anything, whether it's, from anybody. I use my intuition. I understand it. I research it. Yep. Yes, I love the expert advice, but I need to buy into it and I need to believe it. And if something doesn't feel right, I'm not going to do it,
That's huge. That's one of the big points I wanted to make, is like, you can get great results in natural medicine. It doesn't mean that the future doesn't have its own adversity or something happen. We're all learning. We're all growing. And you had a few speed bumps. We were able to get back, and now I think healthier than ever. And that's one of the reasons we're here. Mentally, spiritually, physically healthier than ever. And just got great success in your last colonoscopy with your doctor. And you worked with Coach Lori. How important was it? I know you came in, you worked with Lori, and then you said, I'm good, I'm going to go off my own. And then you had a few speed bumps. You came back with Coach Lori. How important was it to have that coach always there at any moment where you can start private coaching again? And how important was it, Coach Lori, to your success, do you think?
I can't imagine my success without her. It was so important. And just having somebody there with me, her knowledge, her empathy, it was very important. And I think when at the acute time, it was completely necessary. And then I learned more education-wise, and we set up a plan together. So it was really great to have that partnership.
Yeah, I love, and that's one of the reasons for everyone listening to Sarah's journey, we keep private coaching involved in the program, because we know how important it is not just to have a community and a bunch of videos, but to have one-on-one support, someone who's been through Crohn's colitis, someone who understands customization. And I think, Sarah, also looking at your case and being really delicate of where you might react, which is what the ND had missed. Yeah. The ND had only a few sessions with you. We really deep dive, right? And so really happy to hear that. I know Coach Lori is one of the best and helped you immensely. Let's talk about that last speed bump you got. This was bad. Your body went from symptom-free to massively reactive, like on a dime. Your case isn't one of those who gets bad over 2 or 3, 4 weeks. It's like overnight, your body can absolutely freak. And I think both times we had to work on that speed bump, we used a little prednisone just in case, just to make sure it didn't become an ER situation. And what were some of the things, if you could highlight something that really helped you, like where your shield got stronger over this last year you have? What were some things that you think you weren't doing as well that you learn now that you're better at and you think give you the confidence to maintain your success?
I think there's a few things. I think the food philosophy, but now I can really tune into like, okay, at that moment, this is what my body needs. And those are the foods. I like congee, for people that don't know, it's a slow cooked rice dish, which is just so soothing and comforting. My body craves it, and a lot of just really easy to digest things at that time. So I just kind of, again, tapped into what felt right at the moment until I felt stronger to be able to add more foods in, and then targeted supplements for that. And really just a lot of rest, relaxation. And what I really dove into this last one is the mind-body connection and how important that is. And I've got really into breath work. I've gotten into really just understanding how the body wants to heal and, kind of learning more about that piece and addressing stress. And it's really made the biggest difference of all.
So, and that's really hard for a lot of us to absorb who just want to know the perfect supplement, the perfect diet, the perfect alternative therapy. One of the biggest shifts in your health you feel now is the mindset and the breath work. Is that true? And what was the big thing? Like, what do you think you weren't giving enough validation to the first, let's say 6-7 months of your journey versus now?
I think I was going through the motions of it, and it was until I really bought into it and really saw some impact there, like how crucial it is, and really truly believed that you can have all the supplements out there, you can have the perfect diet, but until you really get that mindset piece, nothing's going to change. And that's what it's been for me. I was diagnosed 10 years ago, and it's been a battle since then until now. Like, it really feels this is the missing piece.
Yes, I love it. And I'll put my 2 cents on that, Sarah. It's like, we talk about mindset. She's doing breath work. She is focusing on getting oxygen into her body, driving oxygen into the cells. Most of us, when we're stressed, fight or flight, we do chest breathing, we forget to breathe, and our body, our minds start having very low amount of actual oxygen in there that causes even more stress. Oxygen helps regulate that cytokine immune system response and inflammation. Oxygen is also needed for a healing response. Oxygen is needed to be engaged in the parasympathetic nervous system. That's why when your nervous system is engaged in the parasympathetic, you're belly breathing. When you're stressed and freaked out, you're chest breathing, and you're not going to get as much oxygen absorbed into the body. HBOT is also one of my favorite places to do some of that meditation, where I get 100% oxygen capacity and pressurize to get it into the cell. So that's fantastic, Sarah. It's like that mind, and you started noticing your trauma went down. Your sense of safety went up. How many of us are on the perfect diet, taking all these supplements, we still don't feel safe in our body? So do you feel like that's been one of the most defining things that helped you feel safe after 10 years of chronic disease and ulcerative colitis and all the fear? Yeah. Doctor coming out and saying that's the worst colonoscopy he's ever seen. You can be on drugs for the rest of your life, probably get a surgery. Now that's all changed. Do you feel really that you're saying you probably feel safer in your body more than ever? Is that true?
I do. And actually, the breathwork's opened up other things. I've even started journaling. And as I journal, I realize that there's old trauma and tension and things stored in my gut. And I just feel like I'm able to release so much and work through a lot of stuff. And as I do that, I feel physically lighter. I feel a lot safer in my body. And what's amazing, one of the most amazing things about it is it's translated into so many areas in my life that I see my relationships improving, other areas of health, just overall mental clarity, physical abilities. So yeah, it's not just about solving one thing. It really can have a huge impact.
I love it. And so you're more present. When you do your breath work, you find yourself more present. Your body's calmer, your parasympathetic nervous system's engaged. You feel more safe in your body. You don't have food fear anymore. You just make conscious choices around food that helps reduce inflammatory response and increase nutrient absorption. Yeah. And you can eat a variety of food, yes?
Yes. Actually, what's amazing about the food now is I know that you say this a lot too, like I don't choose to eat foods that are going to hurt my body, but I do find pleasure in food. So I'm having meals that like just bring me so much joy and satisfaction and also feel good in my body at the same time. And I can eat a wide variety of things. I can eat salads, raw vegetables, which I never thought I could for a long time, and chocolate on a daily basis. So
me too, right? It just takes time to get there, right? And it's not just the breath. I think a lot of people also make the mistake that they can just do this with breath work. One of the core values I think we've learned in S.H.I.E.L.D. is it's everything combined. And at Sarah, at any moment, you can come to us and say, I want to add more of this in. We say, great, let's do it. You can do more mindset with a specific protocol for parasites or viral load or microbiome diversity or customizing a nutrition plan as a vegan, as a meat eater, as it doesn't matter, as I just want to eat food and celebrate. Have you been able to have celebration meals without fear or any experiences? Can you give an example of a celebration meal you've had?
Actually, a Friday night was my husband's birthday. We went out to a wonderful restaurant we hadn't been to in 5 years and enjoyed a delicious meal of the raw salad there, and they cooked a delicious fish. It wasn't anything crazy, but it was just nice to be able to go out to a restaurant and enjoy that as well.
There might have been some seed oils, raw salads out of restaurants. That can be scary, right? We got to do certain things to protect ourselves, but I love it. So safety, sense of presence and comfort, and now you've learned, and I don't think you could have got this deep without a speed bump happening. That's why we call them speed bumps.
I just wanted to share one thing, that it was Easter yesterday here, and 2 years ago, my family get together. I remember this, that I was on a liquid diet. So it was right before I came with you guys. I was on a 2-week liquid diet, and this Easter I was able to enjoy a potluck brunch with my family and feel healthy and be there with my kids and my family.
Wow. And you gained all the weight back, no symptoms. You were having 25 bloody bowel movements a day, extremely malnourished, extremely underweight, extremely traumatized. And 2 years later, you're living normal. And any medications? No medications. And I mean, it almost sounds too good to be true. If someone out there who's watching this and is really resonating with you, saying, I'm a parent, I've been dealing with this for 10 plus years, I've had extreme symptoms, I've tried diets, you had diets before you came to the S.H.I.E.L.D. program. What would be your word of advice, for getting started, and what would you leave them with?
Just have faith in the body. The body wants to heal. The body knows how to heal. And there's a lot of amazing resources. And especially if you do it through CCL, they're going to guide you. And just be patient. It takes time, but you're going to learn throughout the whole thing. And it is absolutely possible for anyone.